The journey of twin flames is often described as one of the most intense, soul deep experiences a person can go through in their lifetime. It's a dance of energies, two halves of the same soul, separated, and then brought back together in the material world. The twin flame journey is inherently transformative, burning away illusions, triggering spiritual awakenings, and pushing each individual towards their highest potential. But as beautiful as this journey sounds, it comes with a profound challenge, especially for the divine masculine. Why does the divine masculine, the counterpart that is usually more associated with action, logic, and strength, seem to bear a greater burden of difficulty in this path? What is it about this spiritual experience that strikes at the very core of the masculine energy, leaving him feeling more disoriented, resistant, or challenged than his divine feminine counterpart? To answer these questions, we must first understand the foundational nature of masculine energy and why the twin flame journey, with all its demands for vulnerability, surrender, and transformation, collides so forcefully with it. In today's On, we will touch upon 5 significant reasons that contribute to the divine masculine's struggles, deepening our understanding of the twin flame experience from a broader spiritual perspective. 1. The divine masculine and the struggle with vulnerability. The masculine energy, whether expressed in men or women, has been traditionally tied to strength, independence, and stoicism. These are qualities that have served well in the material world, fostering a sense of protection, action, and problem solving. However, the twin flame journey demands a deeper vulnerability than the masculine may have ever experienced before. This journey is not one of external action or achievements, but rather one that calls for inward reflection, emotional openness, and heart-centered consciousness. For the divine masculine, this can feel like walking into uncharted territory. Vulnerability can be perceived as weakness, a stripping away of the very identity that has been constructed over time. When faced with the intensity of the twin flame connection, the divine masculine often feels exposed, like all the layers of armor they've built around their heart are suddenly torn away. This is especially difficult because the twin flame connection mirrors everything back to them: fears, insecurities, and wounds from past lifetimes. Where the divine feminine might naturally lean into the emotional and spiritual connection, the divine masculine might find himself resisting it. The vulnerability required on this path feels destabilizing, and the divine masculine might try to retreat into old patterns of behavior, avoiding or even denying the connection. This resistance to vulnerability is not a reflection of weakness, but rather the deep conditioning that has led the masculine to believe that their worth lies in their ability to remain strong and unaffected. However, the twin flame journey insists on a new definition of strength, one that integrates vulnerability, softness, and emotional depth. The divine masculine must learn that true strength comes from the courage to feel deeply, to open the heart, and to face the emotional intensity of the connection rather than avoiding it. 2. Resistance to surrender and control issues. Surrender is one of the most crucial aspects of the twin flame journey. It involves letting go of the need to control outcomes, trusting the process, and allowing the flow of divine energy to guide the path forward. For the divine masculine, surrender can be particularly challenging. This energy is often associated with a need to take charge, to plan, and to ensure stability in the physical world. Control is seen as a means of security. If one can control the external environment, they can protect themselves from harm or chaos. But the twin flame journey operates in a completely different dimension. It moves according to divine timing, not human schedules. The journey cannot be forced, manipulated, or planned out in a neat, linear fashion. The more the divine masculine tries to exert control, the more he encounters frustration and resistance. The connection itself refuses to be controlled. It flows with an energy that demands surrender to the unknown, which for the masculine can feel like losing one's footing entirely. The difficulty here lies in the fact that surrender requires trust. Not just trust in the other twin flame, but trust in the universe, and, most importantly, trust in the self. The divine masculine often carries deep-rooted fears around failure or inadequacy, and these fears make it difficult to fully release control. Surrender, for the masculine, feels like stepping off a cliff with no guarantee of a safety net. This is where the twin flame journey becomes an alchemical process. As the divine masculine learns to release control, he begins to transform his relationship with himself and the world around him. Instead of seeking external validation or control, he starts to anchor himself in the inner knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. This is no easy task, and it requires a deep unraveling of old beliefs and patterns. But once the divine masculine begins to embrace surrender, he discovers a new kind of freedom, one that is not dependent on controlling the external world, but rather rooted in the trust that the universe is always guiding him towards his highest good. 3. Facing the shadow self and deep healing. One of the most profound aspects of the twin flame journey is its ability to bring to light the deepest wounds and shadows within each person. This is often referred to as the process of shadow work, facing the parts of ourselves that we have repressed, denied, or avoided. For the divine masculine, this can be particularly difficult because the shadow self often holds the very emotions and experiences that the masculine energy has been conditioned to avoid: pain, fear, grief, and vulnerability. The divine masculine is often more disconnected from his emotional body than the divine feminine. This disconnection can stem from societal conditioning that teaches the masculine to be strong, logical, and unemotional. As a result, emotions are often suppressed or buried deep within the subconscious. The twin flame journey, however, triggers a process of deep emotional and spiritual healing that forces the masculine to confront these buried feelings. This can feel overwhelming and disorienting. The divine masculine may not be used to processing emotions on such an intense level, and the sudden surfacing of old wounds can be frightening. The twin flame acts as a mirror, reflecting back the masculine's unresolved trauma and inviting him to heal it. This is not an easy process, and it often requires the masculine to revisit painful experiences from both this lifetime and past lives. The challenge here is that the divine masculine must learn to face his shadow self without judgment or avoidance. He must come to terms with the parts of himself that he has tried to hide and accept them with compassion and love. This process of shadow work is deeply transformative, but it can also be incredibly difficult. The masculine may find himself struggling with feelings of unworthiness, shame, or guilt as he uncovers the layers of his shadow self. However, this journey of healing is essential for the divine masculine to fully step into his power and embrace the twin flame connection. As he heals his wounds, he becomes more aligned with his true self and begins to embody the divine masculine energy in its highest form. This healing process allows the masculine to release old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve him, making way for a deeper connection with his twin flame and with himself. Number 4, the challenge of integrating the feminine energy. Another reason the twin flame journey is more difficult for the divine masculine is the need to integrate the feminine energy within himself. The twin flame journey is not just about the union between two individuals. It is also about the inner union of masculine and feminine energies within each person. For the divine masculine, this can be a particularly challenging task because it requires him to embrace qualities that he may have previously rejected or suppressed. Feminine energy is associated with intuition, receptivity, nurturing, and emotional expression. These are qualities that the masculine may have been taught to devalue or ignore in favor of more masculine traits such as strength, logic, and action. However, the twin flame journey demands a balance between the masculine and feminine energies, and this balance can only be achieved when the masculine learns to embrace and integrate the feminine within himself. This process of integration can feel foreign and uncomfortable for the divine masculine. He may resist the feminine energy, viewing it as a threat to his sense of identity or masculinity. However, the twin flame connection cannot be fully realized without this inner union. The masculine must learn to trust his intuition, to be receptive to the flow of energy, and to honor his emotions. This does not mean abandoning his masculine qualities, but rather finding a balance between the two energies that allows for a more harmonious and aligned existence. As the divine masculine begins to integrate the feminine energy, he becomes more attuned to his inner world and the spiritual dimensions of the twin flame connection. This integration allows him to access deeper levels of intuition, creativity, and emotional depth, which in turn strengthens the connection with his twin flame. However, this process requires patience, self compassion, and a willingness to step outside of the traditional definitions of masculinity. It is a journey of growth and expansion that ultimately leads to a more balanced and empowered expression of the divine masculine energy. 5. The need for spiritual awakening and higher consciousness. Finally, the twin flame journey is more difficult for the divine masculine because it demands a spiritual awakening and a shift in consciousness. The masculine energy is often more rooted in the physical and material world, focusing on tangible results, achievements, and logic. However, the twin flame journey operates on a spiritual level, requiring the masculine to expand his consciousness and connect with the higher dimensions of existence. This shift in consciousness can be challenging for the divine masculine because it requires him to let go of old ways of thinking and being. He must learn to see beyond the material world and tap into the spiritual realms, where the twin flame connection exists on a soul level. This process of awakening can be disorienting, as the masculine is forced to confront the limitations of his previous beliefs and perceptions. The twin flame journey acts as a catalyst for this awakening, pushing the masculine to expand his consciousness and embrace a new way of perceiving reality. For the divine masculine, this can be an intense and overwhelming experience. The awakening often comes with a sense of loss of old identities, beliefs, and attachments that have previously defined who they are. Suddenly, the masculine is thrust into a new reality where the physical world no longer holds the same meaning or significance. This can lead to feelings of confusion, disillusionment, or even fear as the masculine navigates the unfamiliar territory of higher consciousness. The journey towards spiritual awakening requires the divine masculine to develop a deeper connection with his soul and the universe. This involves moving away from the ego-driven need for control and achievement, and instead embracing the flow of the universe, trusting in divine guidance, and surrendering to the spiritual process. It is a journey of expansion, expanding beyond the mind and into the heart, where the masculine can begin to connect with the true essence of his being. However, this shift in consciousness is not without its challenges. The masculine may resist the awakening process, clinging to old patterns of thinking and being in an attempt to maintain a sense of stability and security. The twin flame journey, though, does not allow for stagnation. It continuously pushes the masculine out of his comfort zone, encouraging him to let go of the ego and embrace the higher dimensions of his soul. As the divine masculine begins to awaken spiritually, he starts to see the twin flame connection in a new light. He recognizes that this journey is not just about a romantic relationship, but about the union of souls and the spiritual evolution of both individuals. This realization brings a deeper understanding of the purpose of the twin flame connection, and the masculine begins to align himself with this higher purpose. The spiritual awakening process also opens the divine masculine to new levels of intuition, insight, and wisdom. He begins to tap into the universal consciousness, where he can access the deeper truths of existence. This allows him to see beyond the surface level of reality and understand the deeper spiritual lessons that are being presented to him. The masculine starts to realize that the twin flame journey is not about achieving an external goal, but about inner transformation and the awakening of the soul. This spiritual awakening process can be difficult for the masculine because it requires a complete shift in perception and a willingness to let go of the old ways of thinking and being. However, it is through this awakening that the masculine is able to fully step into his power and embrace the twin flame connection. As he awakens to the higher dimensions of consciousness, he becomes more aligned with his true self and begins to embody the divine masculine energy in its highest form. This allows him to fully embrace the twin flame journey and the spiritual growth that comes with it. The twin flame journey is a profound and transformative experience for both the divine masculine and feminine, but it is particularly challenging for the masculine due to the nature of the energies involved. The divine masculine is being asked to step into a new way of being, one that requires vulnerability, surrender, spiritual awakening, and inner transformation. This journey is not easy, and it often comes with deep challenges and struggles. However, it is through these challenges that the divine masculine is able to grow and evolve into his highest self. The twin flame journey acts as a catalyst for this growth, pushing the masculine to confront his fears, heal his wounds, and embrace his true essence. As the divine masculine moves through this journey, he begins to embody the qualities of strength, courage, and wisdom in a new and more empowered way. Ultimately, the twin flame journey is about union, both within the self and with the twin flame counterpart. For the divine masculine, this journey is an opportunity to align with his higher self and embrace the spiritual dimensions of the connection. As he does so, he becomes more attuned to his soul's purpose and the deeper meaning of the twin flame journey. This alignment allows for a more harmonious and balanced union with the divine feminine, and together, they move towards the ultimate goal of soul union and spiritual ascension.